Thanks for the support as a channel member, Tim Stoker. So just to clarify again, in order for me to earn money working as a football manager in the US, I need a work visa. But work visas are only available for professional athletes with extraordinary ability in athletics. I don't know if I would consider myself to have extraordinary ability in athletics, but I would quite like to get paid for this job that I'm doing so I can, get a house. Yeah, if you could look in for it for me, that would be very helpful. Thank you. And welcome to part 6 of Born in the USA. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, fingers crossed, we secure our promotion to Tier 9 of the new US football pyramid. It has been a very straightforward first season, so we have gone through and played a lot of games since the last episode. I'm not going to drag this out too far for you. I think my pre-season decision to go out and sign the entire Media Dream 11 has made it a little bit easier than it probably would have been if I hadn't have done that. But you know what? It didn't cost us anything to do, so why wouldn't I have done that? I'm not mad. We've got 10 tiers to get through to get up in this league structure. We are unbeaten, though, as it stands at the moment. 94 points, leaving us 22 points clear with, I think it's 8 games to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which by my maths means if we beat Southie EFC now, we could win the league now. If not, we'll definitely get the title against the GPS Omens. So that's what we're going to try and do. There has been a little bit of transfer news since the last episode. Mainly we brought in a load of youngsters because youngsters seem to be the only thing that's available mid-season, including a second Kakaburis. We've got 2 Kakaburises at the club now because, as the old saying goes, what's better than 1 Kakaburis? 2 Kakaburis. We now have 2 Kakaburis. So this is the team we're going to send to Southie EFC. To be fair, it does only have the 1 Kakaburis in. If we're going by the rule of the Kakaburis, we probably need to add a second one. There you go. We'll add a second one onto the bench so that we at least go with 2 Kakaburis. And we're going with Diallo in goal. A back four of Kakaburis 1, Jones, Vargas and Moore. Old man Atencio and Hernandez in midfield. Brandon, have you met Brandon Hernandez yet? Brandon Hernandez, I think, is one of our other new signings who came in just before the registration window closed. It took him a while to get match fit, but he has now been playing for the last few games. In fact, there you go. That's why it took him a while to get match fit. He got injured on his debut. I wondered why he wasn't fit for so long, but he is now fit and he's pretty good. He's got lots of current ability. We signed him off of Boston in the Atlantic National League, so he probably hasn't even had to move house. I wonder if there's somewhere in his house where I could stay. So we've got Hernandez and old man Atencio midfield. Skoka. I mean, how do we say his name? Zoka. Let's say Zoka. Zoka on the left, the other Hernandez on the right, and then Fletcher and Kevin Smith, not that one, up front. We do seem to have a little bit of a split in the comment section as to whether or not the not that one bit is funny or annoying. So in the interest of fairness, if you head over to the community page, you'll see there's a poll and it will be asking you on there, is it annoying? Is it funny? Depending on the outcome of that poll, we'll either continue with the bit or abandon it. I like it. It amuses me. But if everyone else is finding it annoying, you know how much I hate to annoy you. So I would guess stop saying it quite so often. It amuses me. If it doesn't tickle your funny bits, I don't know what else I can do for you. It's that's top tier comedy from my perspective. Half an hour gone, we are still drawing 0-0. This wasn't how the script was supposed to go for today. It would be nice for the aforementioned Kevin Smith, not that one, or Prince Fletcher up front to go and grab a goal. But we've gone into half time. It's 0-0. Don't tell me now we can win the league. We're suddenly going to start bottling the season. Imagine if we managed to throw it away from here. It would be utterly spectacular. Fletcher with the corner from the right-hand side, looking for Vargas, doesn't find him. It ends up back with Fletcher, who crosses to Smith, and that is his 44th goal of the season, and potentially title-winning goal from Kevin Smith. Not that one. Southie 0, Bourne 1. We're still playing at this same weird pitch surrounded by car parks that we seem to play all our away games at. I think everyone else in our league ground shares the same weird ground that no fans can come in, which might be why we ended up with the better reputation, even though we started the save with a lower reputation than everybody else. But we did talk about this a little bit on Twitch, and I think the reason we were such heavy favourites is because of my reputation as a manager. My reputation, even with the lowest settings selected when I was creating my manager, probably still creates me with a higher reputation than the auto-generated managers for teams with really low reputations. So the team, Bourne, have a reputation of 1, as do almost every other team in this division. There's a couple of teams that have got a higher reputation than 1. But I set the lowest settings for my manager. But I wonder if the managers that were created when we hit the bit about creating players and staff for playable clubs, I think that bit would have created lesser managers than me, because it has to, because I'm Kevy 5 times. And that's why we were such strong favourites. And that should level out as we move up the leagues, I think. That's why we weren't dominant in the practices that I did in the run-throughs. But we've certainly been dominant this season. And here we are, lifting the Eastern League trophy. And, I mean, we deserve this. We've dominated this league. Don't expect us to dominate every league all the way through. Like I've mentioned before, we're deliberately set up to make this the most challenging save I do this year. I know it might be hard to believe that 6 episodes in when we're winning a trophy for the first time, but I'll show you the youth take in a second. The youth intake in a second, because the youth intake that we've had come through has been a little bit pathetic. And with the fact that we're presumably still going to be amateur, I don't know if we're going to go semi-pro now we're getting promoted. There are still amateur teams in Tier 9. So with an amateur setup, terrible facilities, terrible youth setup, and a dodgy youth intake coming through, I don't anticipate that we're going to be charged. I'm in the USA Hall of Fame already. That's amazing. So we've won the Eastern League. Kevin Chapman last night has at last, I mean, we've been here for 7 months, has at last confirmed he's capable of matching the best managers ever to have worked in the USA after winning the Eastern League. The talented manager's success with Bourne has propelled him into the USA Hall of Fame. Judging by his recent achievements, Chapman could be set for even greater heights. I would hope so. Where's the Hall of Fame? So we want Nation USA. I am the 6th best manager in the USA ever. How? So these are all the winners from this season. So I guess I'll move down this list as teams win leagues from higher up the pyramid. So they won the Southern Premier League, which is why he got more. He got 6 score for that, where I only got 1 score. So I imagine because we've wrapped it up so early, that's why we're in the Hall of Fame. But as the season goes on, I'll fall off the Hall of Fame again. It looks like the Hall of Fame's just reset. It doesn't carry the MLS Hall of Fame over, which I guess is good. I like a clean slate. At least we know we're starting from a level playing field, and we could potentially get into that Hall of Fame, but probably not be in there this year. We're not going to add to our 1 point this year now, because we're already knocked out of the FA Vars. I will ask the board if we can go. Can we go? I don't want to go professional. I just want to go semi-professional. I'll ask them about it, and also just quickly show you are they still in as youth candidates? No, they're in as signed now. So these are the under 18s. Now they all look like they've got lots of good potential, which is fair enough. But if we actually have a look at them, the majority of them are on 1 to 3 of the grayed out stars. So not even 1 yellow star. They've got to get all the way through the grayed out stars to get to a yellow star. And yeah, they're not all that. We can't really read too much into this 5-star potential. They're all being compared against old man Atencio, who has 5-star current ability. He's now 45 years old as well and hasn't announced his retirement yet, which is fantastic. I really hope old man Atencio is going to do another season with us. That would be brilliant. But they're all being compared against him. So some of them might eventually end up as good as a 45-year-old who's currently in our team. So that's what it means by 5-star potential. So like I say, don't read too much into that side of things. But what we'll do now, I'm not going to show you the whole of the rest of the season. We'll do one more match just so you get a little bit more goal action for today. And then I'll rush forward, and tomorrow's episode will be the first summer transfer window. I think that's probably best. So GPS Omens, and then we'll fast forward. Right, as this game no longer means anything, I think what I'm going to do is add all of the squads on and then do a quick pick that also picks youth prospects and just have a look at some of these youngsters. A lot of these are names that we recognise from being in and around the first team over the course of the season, but the majority of them are players who haven't really had an opportunity yet. So, for example, Leratu Zulu was here at the start. He's now number 10, but he was very young, and although he's got the 5-star potential, nowhere near first team ready yet, theoretically. I guess we'll have a look at him now and find out. So, completely changed team. You know this lot as well as I know this lot. Let's give them some squad numbers and see how they get on. It will give us an idea of if we are very overpowered against the league, or if it's just a case of we brought in a very good set of sort of first 11, first 15 players, and once you get past them, we're pretty comparable to everyone else in the division, which is what I expect to see. But it could be that our momentum and form carries us over the line anyway, and we might still win. In other news, we were turned down the request to become professional, even though I didn't want to be professional. I wanted to be semi-professional, but that wasn't a button that we could pick, and it doesn't seem to be something that the board have considered either. So we're continuing to be amateur, presumably, unless it ticks over automatically when we move over into being in Tier 9 over the course of the summer. But for now, we are still an amateur team, so we're going to go into the summer assuming we're going to have amateur status again next year, which, as you saw in the intro, I need to maintain my amateur status until I can sort out my visa status. So it suits me. I can carry on sleeping on the office floor and working at the shrimp farm where I've been working recently. I think we're going down to 10 men here, which does kind of put a dampener on the whole having a look to see how good the fringe players are, because now we won't really know because there's only going to be 10 of them on the pitch. We'll just switch to that just to keep it a little bit more balanced. Soki can play in there just as well as he can play out wide. He's one of the few who's had a little bit of a run in the team this year. It is interesting to see that even before the red card, though, we weren't all over them and dominating them with this second string of players. So it is, if I know there's going to be some of you, because you always get the odd doubting Thomas in the comments. There's going to be some of you saying, "Oh, it's too easy again." It's because I signed the entire Media Dream 11, which sometimes I have to remember I'm making YouTube videos, and I won't do that again this coming summer because it does. I acknowledge that might be seen as a little bit exploity, so I'm going to stop myself from doing that this summer. We're going to play non-league to legend transfer rules, at least for the next few seasons, not necessarily for the entire save. But for the next few seasons, we're only going to sign players that come in on our scout reports. I think that's fair, just to make sure that we don't kind of mess with the in-game systems too much. Because I assumed the AI would also be trying to sign the best players. It isn't. So in the interests of keeping it balanced in these lower leagues, I'm not going to be going after Media Dream 11s again. At least for now. If we start struggling, you can bet your bottom dollar I'll start doing it again at that point. Does it bother anyone else that our seats aren't claret like our shirts are? We need a new ground at some point so that we can have some lovely claret seats, because it looks like we're playing in someone else's stadium, which I guess in reality we probably would be. We'd probably be playing at a high school football setup or something equivalent to that, a baseball ground. Do you play soccer? Do you play that? I can't do an American accent. Do you play soccer? Football? Do you play that at a baseball ground? Or would it just be an American rugby stadium? Oh, Nuffle. Love a bit of Nuffle. We're actually going to lose this game. We were on for an unbeaten season, and now I've messed it. This might be my only opportunity in FM21 to do an invincible season, and because I'm trying to show off and show you that I can do it with the reserves, I'm going to throw that away. In fact, I'm not throwing it away. The fella who got sent off has thrown this away. Dominguez. Although, if we can grab an equaliser here, we might still be on for our unbeaten season. And Carlos Sandoval with a lovely finish, a thunderous strike, and an immediate reply makes it Bourne 1, GPS Omens 1. And let's just have a look at this from the other angle, because this is such a good finish. He's hit this first time, side-footed it as well. To side foot into the top corner from outside the penalty area takes some doing, and he did it. So congratulations to him. And I think that should be enough to maintain our invincible run this season. And hopefully I can continue maintaining that while I play through the rest of the season off camera, so that I can be back tomorrow with a transfer special that won't include robbing players off of Media Dream 11s. I'm going to behave myself. but probably still sign an awful lot of players. Yes, we're going to fine him half a week's wages. He earns nothing. I don't know what punishment we've given him there. Knock his Watsits out of his hands. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.